Welcome to the Grizzled Geek. We're here for our review of Justice League. I have a cold, so just so you know, I'm not sounding too good, but
yeah, no,
I'll try and keep my voice for as long as I can.
Cool. So we went into this expecting a dumpster fire.
Yeah. Well, first off, we're going to start off with no spoilers, and then we're going to go to spoilers. So just so you know, we'll let you know. Yeah. We'll let you know. We with Rotten Tomato score of 40%.
40%.
Everything we've
some
heard.
Mixed reviews that are coming out.
And some of the things they were saying in the reviews sounded like what we speculated.
Right. Yeah.
I didn't know what to expect when I went into this movie, but I did not expect what I saw.
Which was really good. Let's just jump that. Yeah, we didn't expect it to be as good as it was. It was very good. Not that the movie doesn't have problems. There are definitely some problems with the movie and with some elements of the movie, but overall, I had fun. I liked the movie.
I thought the movie was really good. I mean, you're right. It does have some problems, as all movies do, but I really enjoyed this movie. I mean, a lot. Yeah. And the warmest review I was hearing before was like, it's all right. They get some things right, but, there's some issues. I thought this was a really good movie. I didn't realize afterwards, we took a look at each other like, what is,
How did this get a 40%?
Yeah.
I am really convinced that that movie reviewers just don't know what to do with superhero movies anymore. I don't know if they're expecting that every movie is going to be a Winter Soldier or Guardians of the Galaxy or something where it's like, not only is it a fun, really good movie, but it's also really tight story, really well acted and stuff like that. And it's like, not every superhero movie needs to be some sort of masterpiece of, storytelling that's off the beaten path of a superhero movie. Some can just be fun superhero movies where good guys beat up bad guys. And as long as you don't have a ton of plot holes or really poor character development or something like that, you can still have a good movie that isn't like art, which I think too many critics take themselves way too seriously now. And if a movie's not an art movie, then they feel like they're wasting their time or something. I don't know.
All right, let's non-spoilers. Just get out of the way. Yes, the third act suffers from what a lot of superhero third acts suffer from. The bad guy wasn't the greatest. The plot was kind of thin, but the characterization and the interaction between those characters was on such a high level. Mm-hmm. There was no weak links in this. And people talk about like, I was disappointed by so and so or whatnot.
Right.
They were all good. I liked them all. I liked Cyborg, which I didn't expect to like.
Yeah.
But I didn't.
I mean, if I were to pick a weak link, he would be it. But he wasn't bad in any way.
No, I liked him.
The guy, Ray Fisher. Yeah. He did a good job with the role. He was a good. He felt like the Cyborg from either the cartoon Justice League or from the comics. He felt like they were portraying that perfectly.
Yeah.
Feeling a bit like an outsider, but has those moments of humanity come through. So yeah, I liked it.
No, he was really good. I mean, we don't talk about there. Like I said, I didn't think there was a weak link in the bunch. I would have preferred Cyborg in a Teen Titans movie or Teen Titans.
Right, yeah.
I would have preferred him there instead of Justice League, but in the comics, he's grown up in the Justice League, so that's where he is now.
Yep.
I would have much rather have a Martian Manhunter or a Green Lantern in his place.
Right.
But, I think he was fine.
Yeah.
I liked the action was amazing. I mean, there was some great, amazing action beats there throughout the movie. Even the end battle was great, but I mean, it was still a big CGI fest. My biggest, like I said, the only problems I had, I mean, the end third act, not as good as the first two acts. Bad guy in the plot could need a little work, and some of the CGI didn't hit home. But they practically redid this movie at the last minute again.
Yeah.
So I forgive some of that.
Right.
And none of that took away from the overall enjoyment of the movie. I thought it was a really good movie. So,
Do you want to rank it before we?
yeah,
get
we'll
into
rank
the
it before we
spoiler?
go into the spoilers section. So,
I think you're going to give it a little higher mark than I am.
probably, I think I liked it more than you did.
Yeah, I'd give it like a 7.5 out of 10.
Okay.
It was a good movie. And I can't get into any of the specifics of what I didn't like without spoilers. So that I had problems with. There was nothing that I just outright hated about the movie, but I did have some problems.
Yeah, there was no, moment like in. There was moments in Batman vs Superman that I hated.
Yeah, that were
Right.
just straight up stupid. Why did you do
There's
this?
moments in Suicide Squad that I hated.
Yep.
There's moments in Man of Steel that I hated. There was no moments I hated in this movie. So,
Yeah, none that I can think of that stood out like that. No.
I mean, not for me. I'm going to give it a straight 8
Okay.
for, a superhero movie.
Right.
Was it as good as, Thor Ragnarok? No. But that's
it was-
not, I mean,
But that's not a reason not to go see the movie. Definitely
No.
recommend seeing this movie. I came into this prepared tonight to say, send Warner Brothers a message. Don't go see this movie. Go see Thor Ragnarok instead.
we thought our opening
And
line would be like, go see Thor Ragnarok again.
Yeah, no, I can't say that. No,
No.
this was a solid movie. It was a good
All right, in
movie.
your opinion, better or worse than Wonder Woman?
Oh, no comparison there. How are you even asking that question? Wonder Woman is so far beyond any of the other DC movies.
Really? Because it suffered from the same problems that this one did, I think. The bad guy in the end, the third act.
But the bad guy had been built up to a point that I only disliked the way he was portrayed, not him per se. I didn't, like the whole that he stayed the English dude and whatever. But that one also had a lot more emotional heft in that third act than this one did. But again, I don't want to get into too spoilery territory. But I mean, you've got Batman versus Superman, and maybe at like a 4, Suicide Squad at like a 5, this at a 7.5, and like I think I rated Wonder Woman a 9 or a 9.5 before. It is a really good.
I think I gave it
solid
an
movie.
8 Wonder Woman, which was a really good movie. But I think, to be honest with you, yes, Wonder Woman beats this one out, but I would say just barely, in my opinion, only because of the emotional heft that movie had, that this one kind of lacked a little bit. But I don't think the gap is as wide as you think it is. But there you have it, folks. Our non-spoiler, I give it an 8. Doug, is it a 7?
7.5.
7.5?
Yep.
Go see the movie. It's worth it. If you're going to see a movie this weekend, Justice League is well worth your time. All right, so we're getting into spoiler territory now. So if you have not seen Justice League, stop watching, go see it, then come back and watch this.
Right.
But spoilers.
Spoilers ahead. Yep.
Because it's going to be hard to talk about this movie without spoilers, much like most movies.
Yeah, I think so.
But I'm like, damn. What do you want to start with this?
Well, who was your favorite character?
My favorite character of the new ones or the old ones?
Just in general. Well, let's start in general, and then who was the new standout?
In general, I think I don't know. It's hard. I like Superman a lot more than I thought I would like him.
All right.
I like Superman. Out of the new guys, I really like the Flash, which again I didn't expect to like the Flash as much, being
Right,
I'm
'cause-
such a fan of the series.
Right. Yeah.
I was really upset that they had to recast
Yeah.
that one with the younger Flash, but he was great. And again, I liked them all. I mean, they were great. What about you?
Yeah. Batman was my favorite. And we were talking about this when makes it even more bitter that Ben Affleck wants to leave the role.
Yeah.
Because he's so good in the role.
I would say he's finally Batman in this movie.
Yeah. Very much Batman. in
Batman
this
vs Superman, not so much. This movie, he's totally Batman. He's not killing people random.
Right.
He's not, he's doing detective work.
Right.
I mean, Batman is Batman in the Justice League, and
Right.
it's a damn shame that he's one of the strongest characters on the team as far as, presence goes,
Yeah.
acting goes, and it's just a shame that for some reason Affleck wants out. So
Right. Yeah. But I think my standout of the new ones is Aquaman.
really,
I actively dislike Aquaman in the comics.
yeah,
Loved him in this movie. He's awesome. I like the attitude they gave him.
Yeah.
I love the scene with him not knowing he's got Diana's rope around
sitting
him,
on the
and
rope, yeah.
he's sitting there going, and he's just kind of airing all of this stuff.
Yeah.
That is an amazing scene. It's one of the best scenes in the movie. Well, everybody's just looking at him like,
Yeah, he starts getting real
what
personal.
the-
Yeah. Maybe I'm scared. I want to live. And you're like, what?
Yeah.
I liked Aquaman. I didn't think there was enough. There wasn't enough Aquaman. I think I was expecting to like Aquaman. I was expecting him to be my favorite.
Yeah.
Just from the trailers, right? And a lot of his great scenes you saw in the trailers,
Yeah.
right?
And
So-
the surfing the parademon was not nearly as corny as you thought out of context. I thought it was cool. It was a bit silly, but it was awesome too.
It demonstrated some of my issues with the third act, but I had no problem. It was fine. I liked the character. I thought it was great. I don't know. I mean, out of the new guy, I mean, they were all so good. You know,
And
Wonder Woman was amazing.
Yeah, they all held up. That's the thing is you expected Ben Affleck and Gal Gadot to just kind of outshine everybody.
Yeah.
And that really didn't happen, at least not too much.
They were the heart and soul of the team.
Yeah, definitely.
But they didn't. Everybody had their place in the team.
Yeah, and everybody performed above what I thought they were going to.
Yes.
So I was really not surprised necessarily, but pleased with it.
Yeah.
Because the more I saw trailers, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to be okay with the people portraying these characters and how they're being portrayed, and that was confirmed.
Yes.
So that was good.
Yeah, I mean, I was surprised the most by Cyborg because I didn't expect to like him. Mm-hmm. But he was really good. I liked the Flash. I like Aquaman. I mean, Wonder Woman is still the same. She's the heart of the team.
Yeah.
And
I love the scene between her and Bruce when he kind of pushes her into that, where she's doesn't start out as the heart of the team.
Right.
She's very reserved and stuff.
He
He's
pushes her into it,
pushing her
maybe a
into
little
it.
too hard.
Yeah.
But
Which he doesn't know how to be subtle.
No.
Which was cool. I liked that
Yeah.
because that plays into Batman in Justice League.
Yes.
He's never subtle about those type of things.
Yes.
He just, if something needs to happen,
his favorite tool is a hammer. That's how he fixes stuff.
yeah. So at least in the social realm.
Yeah, in the social realm. He was great. I mean, man. All right, let's talk about a little bit about Superman. All right, so
Okay.
obviously, the worst kept secret is the fact that Superman is coming back for this movie.
Right.
They left him out of all the.
And they actually false flagged us or it was changed. Although I thought that last trailer with what seemed to be a dream sequence was
not a dream. He
was
was
not a
actually
dream
there.
sequence.
Yeah.
And the lines he spoke in that were changed.
Yes.
That lines of dialogue.
Well, there
never
were several
happened.
things changed. There were several scenes that were in trailers that were not in the movie. Obviously, this movie was changed up until like the last minute. Mm-hmm. I mean, Joss Whedon coming in. I mean, I don't know for a fact, but I believe the whole resurrection, how he got resurrected, was changed. That they decide to bring him back themselves using the mother box, the last mother box.
Right.
They bring Superman back using the birthing chamber on the Kryptonian ship.
Right.
He's confused when he comes back, and they all have to fight him. Right,
Yeah.
that whole sequence smacks of Joss Whedon.
Right, yeah.
And the fact that Josh likes to he likes to have inject some tension.
Right.
Mm-hmm. And that whether or not to bring him back that way was a big moral discussion between Wonder Woman and Batman.
Right,
which
yeah.
is, kind of pushed them a little bit here. So kind of drove a little bit of a wedge.
Right,
Right.
yeah.
And that's totally Josh Whedon knowing how he does things. So I mean, it totally. And I'm pretty sure that's where we got the CGI mustache removal in that scene.
Yeah.
But because we never got to see the Black Resurrection suit.
Nope.
That we saw promos of, we didn't get to see. I mean, it was just. I think they brought him back differently, or he came back differently.
Right. Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't their doing.
Yeah. That was the thing that bugged me. Is I understand maybe the reasoning behind Whedon, if it was in fact him deciding to do that to mess with the team and stuff like that. I just didn't like the whole it doesn't seem like a Batman thing to do, and it just didn't. I don't know. It didn't seem genuinely like, hey, I have an idea. Let's see if we can bring Batman or Superman back from the dead.
Oh, see, I loved it. I didn't lie. I really enjoyed that scene, and I really enjoyed the way they did it for multiple reasons. One, it injected tension into the team, right? It played on Batman's guilt, right, which is who he is, and it gave us the most comic book scene in the entire movie because there was no reason. Superman is the most powerful of the Justice League, and they gave him a moment where the whole entire Justice League had to fight Superman. Right? There was
Right.
no way to write that into the story any other way, right?
Right,
And
yeah.
they're not going to fight Superman. Superman's going to fight the team if he's, in any other way. So it gave us that comic book moment, and that payoff was worth it for me. How they got there, I think the ends justified the means there, and I liked what it added. It added more than it took away from the movie, in my opinion. Instead of just some kind of random resurrection or accidental resurrection or whatever, I really enjoyed that scene. All right, so yeah, I mean, I enjoyed that. What about the suck bad guy, Steppenwolf? That's been some of the biggest criticism about this, is that he was a forgettable bad guy. He was a CGI fest. He didn't look real.
I didn't have a problem with how he looked. I
Okay.
didn't think he was. I didn't think he was that bad.
Think he looked better than Ares?
Yes, Ares armored up. Yeah, he looked better than Ares armored up.
Okay.
It was unfortunate that they did not continue to evolve his story. Because he started off the back scene. Well, him showing up was cool and fighting Amazons, and it established him as being pretty badass. And then, then they light the fire, and Wonder Woman knows that he's coming, and now has heard about him. Apparently, knows his history, so she gives Batman a rundown of his history, which is intriguing, and where we get our Green Lantern scene that everybody was expecting. He's in a flashback of an ancient battle against Steppenwolf when Steppenwolf came to Earth the first time.
Right.
And the Amazonians, the Atlanteans, and the men, who I think they don't establish this, they don't say anything, but I think they were being led by King Arthur, fought Steppenwolf back. And he looked cool there. The fight scenes with him fighting the gods and all of those guys looked really cool. And then, obviously, I assume it was Mera who told Aqua-man who Steppenwolf was and why they were guarding the mother box. But from that point on, he then becomes just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. Yeah. He's pretty much the same at that point. You learn no more information from him. The only thing you get from that point on is that at one point he mentions Darkseid.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Only one mention of Darkseid.
Only one mention of Darkseid in the whole movie, and no explanation of how they're connected or what Darkseid is or anything like that.
That line about the Kryptonians and lanterns from the trailer was not in the movie.
Yeah. No.
Although we did get a Green Lantern in the movie. Spoilers.
Yeah.
Green Lantern was in the movie. Well, not the Green Lantern, but...
And he does say, I understand why... He's talking to the mother box. He says, I understand why you waited to call me back until now.
Yeah.
Now that I see the Kryptonians dead.
Yes. Or he said the Kryptonians' death plunged the world into chaos.
Yeah, something along those lines.
So...
And then we find out from another character that as soon as Superman died, the mother boxes started reacting.
Yes.
So, which is interesting.
Yeah, I mean,
But otherwise, I didn't necessarily have a problem with him up until the very end.
Yeah, I mean, he was a little overly CGI. I mean, obviously, he was completely computer generated from head to toe.
Yeah.
Right? But the only problem I had was with his face, really. His face looked a little too CG, but he was an alien, so it was really...
Right, yeah.
I guess it was fine. When he showed up and with his armies and like that in the flashback scene, that was amazing. When he showed up in Wrecked House on the Amazons, that was amazing. Although I think they put up a bigger fight than any of the heroes did up until the end.
Although, the
Amazons put up the best. They got wiped out, but they put up the biggest resistance. I mean, the Atlanteans didn't put up any resistance.
Mera did a little bit.
Mera a little bit there, but you know. but yeah, and then they weren't able to touch this guy. He was like untouchable till the very end, which we'll touch on.
Right.
We'll get into that here in a minute. But yeah, I mean, I would have liked a little more character development, a little more,
Yeah.
you know, a little more story than, you know, it's like, oh, I need to conquer the world. And apparently he's been banished for a while, you know, so maybe they kind of hint that he needed to conquer the Earth so he would be unbanished back in Apocalypse. But they don't mention Apocalypse. They only mention Darkseid once.
Yeah.
Really, his motives were pretty murky, other than he needed to collect the mother boxes.
Collect the mother boxes, destroy the planet.
Destroy the planet.
That was it.
Yeah, there was no...
That was his grand scheme.
You know, he had a thirst for war, and he didn't want to, you know, give up on Earth. He tried conquering it once, and it didn't work.
Right, yeah.
So he wanted to destroy it.
Apparently it was the first time he had to retreat.
Right. So was it all revenge? I don't know. It's like I said, his goals are a little murky, but I mean, his axe was cool. His watching him fight was pretty cool. He was a far more formidable opponent than like Doomsday was in Batman vs Superman. I mean, Superman, he was
far more interesting.
Interesting, yeah.
As an opponent.
Right. And I mean, yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, if you want to talk about forgettable bad guys in a DC movie, that was a forgettable bad guy.
Yeah.
He was horrible.
Overly CGI'd and forgettable.
The cave troll.
Yeah. I think this was...
Cave troll Doomsday.
Yeah, Steppenwolf, other than I would like to have seen... I mean, I would have liked that to him to be Darkseid in this, but...
Or at least lead into Darkseid. Say a little bit more about, now I'll get to return to Apocalypse.
Yeah.
Darkseid will forgive me. Or anything else that would have, you know, kind of...
We need a little more backstory on him, and I think that all plays into one of the biggest problems in the movie is that the mandate that it stay under 2 hours, right?
Oh,
they had
right.
introduced 3 new characters, right? They had to have, you know, the new bad guy, and there were several things. I mean, you look at it. I mean, the build up for it, they had to go out and recruit everybody, so they had to have a recruitment scene, right?
Right.
All of them tell them no, except for Barry,
Yeah.
right? Who joined up right away. So then they had to
He
go back.
doesn't even have to go all the way through the pitch. He's like,
Right.
I'm in.
So yeah, but Aqua-man tells him no, and he has to go away and has something tragic happen to him, so he comes back and joins the team. You know, Cyborg tells him no, and has to go away and then wait for something tragic to happen to him until he comes back and rejoins the team.
Right, yeah.
You know, I mean, it's just that to me, this is where not having those solo movies
Definitely
hurt this movie, right?
Yep.
Where Avengers was like nonstop action right from the get-go. We knew who everybody was, right?
Yep.
There wasn't a whole lot of backstory, and every scene in that movie, you know, character development-wise, just played on the backs of their solo movies, right?
Yes.
So this, they didn't have any of that, right? Or they had it for Batman and Wonder Woman.
Yes.
But, you know, all the rest of them, no. So, yeah, I mean, so it's I don't know. I mean, I liked it. I think the bad guy it stood a little more background, a little more story. I mean, they show the boom tubes, but they never mention.
Yeah, they don't mention what they are, but they show them, and so comic book fans will know. Oh, that's a boom tube.
I will say this: this movie was made for comic book fans. If you were a DC fan, there was a ton of stuff in there that was just like, you know, wink and a nod to you. You knew what was going on.
Right.
Your
Yeah.
average moviegoer is not going to know, you know, a whole lot about some of this stuff, but. I mean, I think it's still fun. I think it's still a fun movie to have.
Yeah.
You know.
All right. So shall we talk about the third act then? Let's delve into that and then issues that, because this is where I had the most problems with it, because I didn't, you know, I did not know that they were told that they had to stay under 2 hours. I didn't know that was a mandate, because
Warner Brothers.
I liked all of the recruitment stuff. They were cool character moments. They established kind of the beat of what those characters are like, which was cool. But yeah, it did take a while. So, you know, luckily you had action scenes with Batman and Wonder Woman to kind of float those along,
right?
To keep the action going and superhero pace going.
Well, the biggest problem is because it took so long to recruit the entire team, they got thrown right into it.
Right. You really get their first fight together is against Steppenwolf. There's no build up to the bad guy.
No. So I mean, yeah, it's they get thrown right into it. The new guys.
Yep.
And
I'd make the
Yeah, what's it?
I'd make the argument they do better in the first fight than they do in the second.
Yeah, probably because yeah. Barry Allen's like hesitant because he's never been in a battle before, you know. So he's got, you know.
And I like that. That was a good scene between
Yeah.
Batman kind of coaching him along as like, okay, here's how you get into this. Yeah. Just save somebody.
But there was no strategy. There was no like, let's go here. Like I think you might be here. This might be the base. Let's go check it out. And you show up and then
they're all here.
They're all here. So yeah, I mean and the only reason why Cyborg is there is because his dad got kidnapped there.
Right. Yeah.
Right. So I mean, they were just kind of like thrown in together. They didn't have a whole lot of team building moments as a team.
Right.
You know, because the second big team building moment is fighting Superman. So
yes.
Which went about as well as the fight against Steppenwolf. Actually, worse.
Yeah,
worse. Superman like mopped the floor with him, which leads us into Doug's issue with the third act of the movie.
Yeah.
This is I don't want to say Golden Age Superman, but not quite Silver Age Superman power.
This is obviously not current comic continuity. Relationship between power levels, because he clearly outpaced, because they've bumped Aquaman up to be in the comics currently to being like a second tier strength person.
They bumped up Wonder Woman,
and then Wonder Woman is her and Superman and Martian Manhunter are supposed to be on pretty even levels in strength and endurance and all that kind of stuff. But that is clearly not the case in this movie.
See, back in well, I was gonna say it was Silver Age Superman. It was always Superman in the highest tier. There was Superman, Captain Marvel or Shazam, whatever you call him now, and Martian Manhunter.
Right.
Those are the three strongest in the. And then there was a second tier, which was your Aquaman, Wonder Woman, all the other super strong people, and they weren't quite on that level.
Yeah, and they definitely went that route here. But that's not even. And it kind of bugged me because I was expecting current continuity. So I was like, oh, why is it? But I mean, Wonder Woman had a couple of moments, so I wasn't super taken out of it. But in the Act 3, I really had a problem with Superman's presence in the final action sequence because, again, we're spoiling the crap out of this. But at the end, they've decided that, the way to win is for Cyborg to separate the mother boxes.
Yes.
And initially, their plan is he'll separate them, everybody else leave because there's going to be an explosion. It's going to be bad.
Right.
So they go in, they think, Superman's out. We don't have him. We're going to have to go do this without him.
Well, Batman's plan initially is to draw all the parademons away so they can go in and do it. And he's basically committing suicide.
And then they save him. They all go in together.
And then it becomes holding off Steppenwolf while Cyborg separates some other boxes.
Correct. Yeah.
Which they can't do.
Yeah, they can't. You've got civilians in harm's way, so Batman sends Barry Allen out to, sends the Flash to go save the civilians.
Yeah.
You've got Aquaman and Wonder Woman trying to hold off Steppenwolf and having less success than Wonder Woman did by herself.
Yeah, Batman keeping parademons away.
Batman keeping parademons, and then Cyborg's trying to separate the cubes.
Yeah.
Superman shows up, handily dispatches Steppenwolf. I mean, handily. He was not staggered. He was not wounded at all. He just mops the floor with him.
Yeah.
So does what those two couldn't do at all.
Yeah.
And then goes, I hear civilians in trouble. They're like, yeah, we sent the Flash to do it. Well, I'm off. And then he beats Flash to the punch, who had already left well before and should have been able to run a couple miles by that point. And
then ended up saving more civilians than Flash did.
saved way more civilians than Flash did. And then he comes back and separates the boxes for
well, before that, Then he comes back and beats up Steppenwolf some more, so he's staggered enough that Wonder Woman and
there you go.
And Aquaman can actually defeat him now.
Yeah.
Right.
With his freeze breath helping out.
He broke his axe. Yeah.
Yeah. So essentially, he helped Diana break the axe.
All right.
And then Cyborg gets the things separated, and Superman has to push him apart because Cyborg can't manage it on his own. So he cleans up for everybody else because they can't handle it without him. Not like he does one thing that they couldn't do. He does it all because they couldn't do it, which really bugs me.
I had less of a problem with this than Doug did. Yes, he was. Where, yes, most of that is true. However, I don't
All of
think
that is true.
I don't think any of it. I don't think the others. Everyone did their part at the end, in my opinion. Right? They needed Cyborg to separate them other boxes. Right? He couldn't push them apart, but he actually separated them.
Yeah.
Right?
He's the only one who did something that
they couldn't do
Superman
that
couldn't
without
have done.
him. They needed Flash to save civilians. Yeah, Superman saved more than Flash did
He saved 4.
in a goof. Well, that we saw.
Yeah.
I'm sure, like you said, he sent him out earlier to rescue. There was more civilians than those truckload in that one building full.
Maybe, but that's all.
But we didn't see it. We didn't see it. But he sent. They already established that they sent the Flash out, and then Superman followed later, and then he caught up with him as he's going to rescue the one family that they kept showing.
Throughout the whole movie.
Throughout the entire movie, which I have. You always feel like there's something more with that family going on than we saw in the movie. It was like a part of a storyline that got cut out or something like that because
Maybe.
they were quite a bit.
Yeah, they were in there like 4 scenes.
Yeah.
And you're like,
And
okay.
for no other reason than for
Flash to
Barry-
save
Flash to
them,
save
yeah.
him at the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, he probably was saving civilians. I don't know. We don't see it, right? So Doug's problem is he would like to have seen Flash running back and forth saving some
Right, yeah.
civilians, right? And by the time they got to the truck, Superman went off and saved more. So we actually see Superman save more than the Flash, but I'm sure the Flash saved plenty, right? Batman had to get there, come up with the plan. He's the one that lured all the parademons away. As we saw, once in mass, they can overwhelm even, Steppenwolf.
Yeah.
Right? So, yes, they're a problem. If it wasn't for Batman's plan, they're luring him away with the sound beacon. He figured it out. With
The sound that they didn't like and they
his
freak
key-
out and move
yeah,
towards.
his key detective skills. And then Wonder Woman and Aquaman are the ones that actually finally defeat Steppenwolf. Yes, Superman was a key
He was
part,
already
a key part to
freaking
all those
messed
things.
up.
But Superman, in my argument, Doug said, why do you need the rest of them? I don't think Superman could have done all that on his own. He couldn't have saved all the civilians. He couldn't have fought off Steppenwolf, and he couldn't have broken the mother boxes all by himself. He needed the entire team. They had to work together as a team. Yes, Superman was the heavy lifter, but that's what Superman always has been. He's the heavy lifter of the team, especially when they're giving him basically, this is Silver Age Superman, right? These are Silver Age power levels, right? So this is the Superman that is almost as fast as the Flash. He's stronger than any of the other members. He's more invulnerable than any of them.
If you play out the way the movie plays out, he's way faster than Flash. Because Flash was running, we have to presume top speed to get to the civilians as quick as possible.
Again,
and he flies up to him.
Again, I think that's
catches him.
editing. You can actually, unless there was only one building and one truck full of people in that entire city that needed saving, I'm assuming he was rescuing other people.
But he still wasn't even sure which direction he was going at that point. Right before Superman got there. It was just poorly done.
I would say that's bad editing, probably a result of having the mandate of keeping the movie under 2 hours.
Maybe.
They had to cut down editing edit out some stuff. I don't think it was the Deus Ex Machina that you think he was, where
Well, you guys judge for yourself and let us know what you think.
Yeah.
Because I think he was just, it was like, I can do everything you guys can do and better. I'm going to do your job for you. Thanks for kind of holding down the fort until I got here. That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, I thought they worked together as a team well. So I didn't have a problem with the heavy lifting that Superman did at the end. But like I said, you be the judge. You let us know what you guys think about it, because that was the biggest contention between the two of us of how we saw the movie. It's probably why the different scores.
Yes,
we gave it.
That was the big thing that knocked it down for me. Because everything up to that point, I liked. I enjoyed. First 2 acts were really well done. Had lots of cool emotional heft. Everybody did a great job in their parts. And I think everybody did fine acting. I just didn't like the, Superman comes and fixes everything kind of trope, which is what the New 52 and now the Rebirth have been trying to tone back is, it's not just Superman flies in and catches all the bullets and saves all the people, kind of thing. And all the other heroes are just kind of hold down the fort until Superman gets here kind of thing.
Well, I didn't get that vibe. But again, this is coming from DC, which, unlike Marvel, where you can go on Marvel on, they have statistics on all their characters. They know exactly how strong Thor is compared to the Hulk, right?
Right.
They have all these, and they've had this database, it's what they base the old Marvel games on, role-playing games on. They had all the stats. DC has been all over the place. I mean, they've been around a lot longer. There was 3 different distinct ages where power levels shifted. I mean, Superman has a hard time lifting a tank sometimes. Sometimes he has a hard time lifting a mountain, right? So
And
it's just-
sometimes he helps Wonder Woman and Martian Manhunter pull the Earth.
yeah. So their power levels are
They
all over the place.
do ridiculous
There's
stuff.
no set database of how strong any of them are exactly. And if you go by, you know, what they've done in the past, that's
They pretty much defy physics constantly.
yeah, they totally do. If you can get around that part, because I mean, and even in their own make believe physics world, like we're pointing out, so you don't make they're not consistent.
They're
that
not
way.
consistent in that.
Like the Flash, he has the Speed Force, which reduces which harnesses his friction, so he doesn't like melt stuff with his friction as he runs past him.
Right.
But Superman doesn't have that, and he flies just as fast. And
Yep.
Wonder Woman doesn't have that, and when she was like moving, not nearly that fast, but fast enough to block machine gun bullets. with her bracelets.
She didn't even ruffle people's hair.
Yeah, she didn't ruffle people's hair. So I'm saying, and she didn't have the Speed Force.
Right.
You know, as comic book fans, we look past these things, right? I mean, for a good story, yeah, it makes sense. They had to come up with some kind of pseudoscience way of explaining the Flash.
Yeah.
They didn't bother that with Superman.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, that's
But-
where you run into problems. But yeah, anyways.
So, but I mean,
Nonetheless.
yeah, it was none of this detracts from the enjoyment of the movie, in my opinion. I think, and obviously this is the nerd fodder for, you know, squabbling about who's stronger, Superman or Wonder Woman.
Right, yeah.
That's, you know, of course, this is what we love. As nerds, we love this stuff that we can argue back and forth, like, could Superman do this? Could Batman beat Superman? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
That's for nerd arguments. Get into a little bit of that here with this movie, but overall, it is a fun time. And the characters are, the personalities, I enjoyed the interaction with the characters when they weren't fighting as much, if not more, than the action scenes.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, bottom line, Justice League's a great movie. I really wish they'd had Green Lantern in it. I really
Yeah.
wish the Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern hadn't, you know, put such a stink on the character that Warner Brothers was afraid to.
Right, yeah.
jump-
to commit to it.
Yeah, commit
I
to
mean,
that.
they committed to them existing in the universe. They actually showed one in there. So I was happy about that.
Yeah,
In the under 2 hours, I have no idea how you shoehorn another hero in there.
true. Well, I
So-
would have replaced Cyborg with him, but
Well, yeah, all right.
that's
So
me. But
fair enough.
yeah, and I like what, you know, like I said, I like what they did with Martian Manhunter and Wonder Woman TV show. So
Yeah.
I mean, you know, although
So-
they don't use him nearly as much as they should in that movie.
So this
series.
good movie begs the fact of what they're going to do now. We'll see if it's what they consider a success and whether they continue forward with stuff. I hope they don't having seen this movie now, I hope they don't recast any of these people.
Especially with the end credit scenes we get. Like,
I guess
we get 2 end credit scenes. We'll tell you about those. All right. First off is the
just a quick fun one.
foot race between Superman
Yeah.
and Flash.
Oh, it's not a foot. He's
No,
flying.
he's flying, right? True, but it's
Superman flying versus
it's a callback to this again, the Silver Age.
Yep.
Where they raced each
Who's
other.
the fastest man,
Who's
yeah.
the fastest man alive? And then the formation of the
the start of a formation of a Legion of Doom.
Legion of Doom. We need a Legion of our own.
Well, he says league. We need a league of our own.
League of, yeah.
And it's Lex
Luthor.
who has escaped from prison by replacing himself with somebody else who's, you know, they think is him, but
Yeah.
it's not. And he's sane and on a yacht.
Yeah. And then
And
Deathstroke.
then Deathstroke, who
Full-on Slade
looked
Wilson.
awesome.
Yes.
He was great.
And it
He
was Joe
looked
Manganiello.
perfect.
It
Yeah,
was
he
Joe
took off
Manganiello.
his helmet,
Yep.
white hair, beard,
Patch.
Great. Awesome.
So amazing.
So we'll see where this goes from here.
I just
but-
hate when you hear all the news with the news of Affleck and reboots and not knowing where this is going and the executives worried about this not beating Thor Ragnarok's opening weekend.
Yeah.
That we could be on the cusp of a reboot or a teardown of this universe that is finally gotten on track
Yeah.
with a promise.
2 movies in a row that were good. One
Yeah.
great in my opinion, 2 great in his opinion,
Yeah.
but nonetheless, they're on the right track.
And with that end credit scene and the way this ended, the promise of a shared universe that actually matters, that we actually care about, with people we care about. I mean, they hint at Green Lantern.
I'm not happy that they kept Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. I don't want to see him as Lex Luthor again.
I think he was fine
But
with
if
the
they
shaved
tone
head.
him down and
He was far more reserved in that one little scene.
yeah, he was. So maybe they're pulling it back. They've decided what's wrong and they're going to fix it. Aquaman's already coming. So
Flash, we're getting Flashpoint.
Well,
So-
Flashpoint's on hold right now.
Yeah, well,
I hope it'll go forward now. So
Yeah, that's the biggest scare is that we could lose all this with a reboot
yeah.
because of studio interference.
Overall,
Obviously,
go see the movie.
Go see this movie. Yeah, I mean, I'm a Marvel fan, right? I wasn't ever as big a DC fan as you.
Yeah.
Definitely never as big a Batman fan as you.
Yeah, he's my second favorite character of all comic book
I like
characters.
Batman. Don't get me wrong, but I just I had a problem with the Justice League Batman.
Yeah.
He's
He's always got a plan.
always got a plan. Yeah.
He had a plan here. How do you beat Superman? You bring
And that's
in
the thing with the power levels. I'm gonna rant a little bit here. I know we're supposed to close this out. We've been going too long, but I gotta rant a little bit here. Batman. Talk about the various power levels. There's Detective Comics Batman, where he's fighting street level villains and solving crimes and dusting for fingerprints. And then there's Justice League Batman, who's got a contingency plan to take out gods. I'm like, a little consistency in this power level.
Yeah, well,
But for the guy without any powers.
all right.
But I love this movie. Go see it. Tell us what you thought in the comments below. Hit like if you liked this. If you want to see any more of these, subscribe down below. If you want to support what we're doing on this channel, we have a link to our Patreon down below where you'll get early access to videos, behind the scenes, and bloopers, and cool swag like this shirt Doug's wearing right now. Grizzled Geek.
Yeah.
So thanks, guys. We enjoyed this movie. We hope you enjoyed it as well. Let us know if you do, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks.